Hi guys, welcome back. Well, last week I finally admitted it. I was burnt out, my form was fading, my racing was kind of all over the place, and I decided it was time to kind of hit reset and start a rebuild. Now, the response to that video was incredible. I got over 1,000 views and loads of positive comments, and it generally gave me a boost to kind of stick with the plan. So this week I'm keeping with the rebuild. One big race, some smart recovery, some proper strength work, and a kind of whole lot of zone 2. So if you want to see exactly what I've done and what's changed and what's planned for the next stage of the comeback, stick around, watch along. Week 2 of the rebuild starts now. So Monday then, as most Mondays, I've been streaming the Army Cycling E-Race series, and this is race 6 in the series. It's kind of the final one. So I'm doing this, but also in the meantime I'm resting. This was a hilly course, and we had a lot of riders, so what I kind of do is I bounce between A, B, C and D league throughout and do the commentary of the race as it goes along. As you can see, it's kind of fast-paced racing, and it finished on a nice hilltop finish this time. But I did manage to catch the lead packs of all three as they crossed the line. And in this case, when I watched the C League cross the line, it was great to see that it was an actual female 1, 2, 3 on this. So brilliant to see. And with that, it was kind of the end of the series. And on the 8th of December, I'll actually be racing this for a change. So Tuesday was ZRL, and it was another team time trial, but unfortunately we've been struck with some promotions and some illness, so we could only field kind of 5 riders, and actually Dylan was riding even though he wasn't feeling very well. So this was on another New York route on What's the Limit. What we've done is we've done our calculator of 5 riders, a little bit different than normal. And then we had a TT calculator up, timer up throughout the race.
Go, good luck everyone.
So as you can see, there's our timer on the left hand side there, and so I DS'd the race as well as racing it, and kind of called out the timings as we went along, making sure that we had kind of a 30-second update for those that were doing a minute, and a 10-second update with a 5-second countdown of when the changes were going to happen. And we'd had a pretty solid plan for this.
Good line. That's 30 seconds, Ed.
So that just kind of lets the next rider know that he's halfway through. Both myself and Ed, being the heavier riders in this group, we decided to do 1-minute pulls, where the lighter riders were going to do 30-second pulls, but that meant they could hold a little bit more intensity.
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dylan.
So as you can see there, the timer changed and it automatically goes from Dylan to Mark, Mark to Dylan, with 30 seconds. And then rather than just calling out more, just give him an update at the 10-second and then a 5-second countdown for the changeover.
10 seconds and Mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark's up.
Unfortunately, at this point, Dylan wasn't feeling great and had to drop off. But we were really appreciative for him stepping up to at least give us 5, even though he wasn't feeling great. But that meant the 4 of us now needed to be a little bit more disciplined all the way through. And the calculator is quite easy just to cancel someone. And then the rest of the ride just became a tale of the escalators. And it was escalator after escalator after escalator. And once we kind of hit the final escalator, we just had a little bit of rolling ahead. But what we did notice was we were gaining time on the groups around us, which was ideal. And then as we kind of approached the last K, I was feeling a little bit strong, so I just told Matt that I would take up the last K, and kind of me and Ed just went to the front and just pushed for as hard as we could, and that was kind of the game plan. So the last K is always a little bit of a weird one where you don't want to be doing any changes. You kind of just want to be going kind of balls out as such, just to make sure I try and get a good enough time. We did lose a little bit of time to the team ahead, so I think us being a 4 was probably the reason, because they did finish with 6, and it could take its toll after a while. But you know what? We were super proud of all 4 of us and 5 of us, including Dylan as well, because even those first couple of turns is just enough to give you a little bit of rest, and it's definitely what you need. But this was the race of the week that I targeted. I didn't want to do any other races in the week, because this was the one that kind of meant the most. And kind of as we crossed the line, given it all, provisionally, we finished 3rd, and we're now up to 4th in the league out of 12 with 2 races to go. So Wednesday was a complete rest day, so we'll move on to Thursday. Thursday then, I decided to do an hour of Zone 2, and this is my kind of Zone 2 that I got up from British Cycling. But whilst I was doing that then, I could DS for our Le Tour ladder team, which I normally race in. However, because of the rebuild as such this week, I decided to step aside, because we did have too many people who were eligible, so I thought I'd at least keep me toe in the water while I'm Zone 2 in, and you can fan view and DS. So that's what I did. So whilst fan viewing then, I've just got Companion open on my phone, and I'm just checking my numbers just to make sure that I'm still spinning my legs at Zone 2. While I'm just kind of bouncing through, looking at each of the riders here, and kind of watching for attacks, and letting the team know. And you can see I've got Discord up on the screen there, so I'm shouting that there's an attack, so that the riders can kind of reactivate, just in case they miss it by a second or two. It can be enough to cause a big gap. But also one of the things is I can kind of see everyone's heart rate if I click on them. So if we've done a bit of homework, we can see that who's in the red and who's still pushing. And this was a tough ladder race for the team. This was a very, very strong race with attacks constantly going off the front. And they had an A+ rider who was definitely a little bit out of the league of this team compared to the rest of his compatriots. And but the team did really well and kind of pushed on for as hard as they could. Unfortunately, it didn't end up in a win, but you can't win every ladder race, and when you're on the second rung, it is the finer details. And they had 2 riders up the road, and this was the kind of final sprint going on now for the remaining places and points. But it's just a bit tough to kind of do it, and the finish also was a little bit of a custom finish, so we kind of dropped the ball on that one and didn't understand where it was meant to be. So once that was finished, then I just continued on my ride in Zone 2 for the remaining 60 minutes. And once I got to 60 minutes, I just ended the ride, did a little bit of stretching, and had a look at one of the other team members' streams that he had of the race from his view. So it's always good, even though I'm not racing, I was kind of still kind of keeping me toe in the water as such. Hi guys, something a little bit different today then. I'm going to be doing a strength session. So I took a little bit of advice from both the internet and some team members, and decided I'm going to do a bit of a strength session as part of this week. So took a bit of advice off Bobby, one of our machines on the team, who's got a bit of experience in strength and conditioning. One of the things I'm going to do is, first of all, is I'm going to jump on the bike and do kind of 20 minutes of zone 2, just to get the legs warmed up, but also when I do the strength session, I've got a little bit of fatigue in the legs. Right? I don't think I get much fatigue from 20 minutes of zone 2, but well, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to hop on the bike now, do a nice little 20-minute warm-up. So like I said, nothing too strenuous, but I did need to upgrade my TT bike. So I only had 20 minutes to upgrade my TT bike to the next level. So it was a perfect time just to get on and just spin the legs at zone 2 and kind of complete that 20 minutes. And at the end of it, was a new route complete. Okay, so bike's done. Nice and warmed up after 20 minutes or so, and also a nice little upgrade on my TT bike, which was great. I've looked at the internet, looked at quite a bit, and decided that I'm going to do some strength and some core exercises. And I've kind of ran this by a few people, and they seem to think that these are a good start. And you've got to remember, these are a start. I'm starting from scratch. I'm going to kind of minimise how much I do in one go so that I don't get kind of injured. So the first one we're going to do is goblet squats. So that's with the kettlebell, my wife's kettlebells. I might purchase a few more for myself. And I'm going to do 3 sets of 12 goblet squats. So what I'll do is I'll fast forward through all of these, and I've kind of just put one set in each that you can see. But I did do 3 sets of all of them, and they're either 12 to 15 reps, or I did, for example, on the flutter kicks, it was 20 per leg, and 1 minute stints on the plank. Now, I am not an avid gym goer. I prefer to either put my running trainers on or go on the bike. So my stability is not great, my form's not great, but the more I go, the better I'll become. And I can definitely feel it now. Having completed it, I have a serious amount of DOMs the next day, which I wasn't expecting, but that's to be expected. So a big thing on the double hinges here that I had to make sure form-wise was that as soon as the hamstrings activated, you had to stop and go back up. That was the whole point of that one, and I do feel that one now. Flutter kicks wise, again, my hamstrings were feeling it, and my glutes were feeling it now because of that. Plank, I can definitely do more than a minute, but I stuck to what the program was, and done 3 1-minute blocks. And actually, this is definitely something that I'm going to incorporate every week now, a bit of strength training. So on to Saturday then, and back onto zone 2. However, before we get onto the ride, I had a look in the drop shop, and I am still about 60 or 70,000 drops short of an SL8. So I've been riding on my Canyon Air Road level 5, where I've been saving up drops. But I decided to go on to a pacer bot, and then just sit with the pacer bot for an hour and kind of build up the drops as we go along. And these are a great way to kind of keep you active in the zone 2 things, because you've obviously got to concentrate on staying with someone. And I just had a good playlist on my phone as I was kind of riding along. And I prefer a decent route like this in Scotland, and not something on something too flat. And about the 50-minute mark, I hit the required drops, and I was like, do you know what? I'm at 2.5 times on the drops, and I did change my kit midway through as well. But I thought, you know what? I've got another 9 minutes to the 60 minutes, because I was kind of desperate to jump off and do it there and then. But I stayed on for the 60 minutes and kind of ended up getting an extra 12,000 drops, which was good. and it does, if you give yourself these little goals, maybe I can kind of zone out the boredom of zone 2 riding that some people can get. So after an hour then, I decided to jump off, end the ride, and jump straight into the drop shop, as you could imagine. Because that's what majority of this ride has been about. So straight up into the drop shop, go and buy my SL8, and you could say it's been my little reward for the week. But with a lot of races coming up like ZRL and some ladder races and stuff like that, I don't think the SL8 will get used anytime soon for racing, with it being level 0. But what I can do is use it every single time I am doing zone 2 or on a warm-up or anything like that, and it can be my go-to bike from now on. And that's Saturday complete. On to Sunday then, the final day, and on to TNP Sunday Social then. So this is a banded ride which is on every Sunday, and it's perfect because I want to do a bit of zone 2. And I'm joining Discord, chatting away to Coach, and then eventually Simon jumps on as well, and we just have a nice little chat as we're riding around zone 2. I only did 60 minutes with them, just to kind of keep it in the zone that I wanted to. I didn't want to overexert myself, just to kind of finish off and round the week. And as I finished the ride, I realised that this banded ride has been really good at kind of maintaining my zone 2, and I've just chatted away while spinning my legs, and it's definitely been what I would class as kind of the perfect ending to the first week of the rebuild, because I feel a lot better and a lot more refreshed. And that wraps up week 1 of the rebuild. It's been most disciplined I've been in a long time. Kind of one big effort on Tuesday with the ZRL TTT, 2 proper rest days, plenty of zone 2 work, a solid strength session on Friday, and a chilled banded ride today to kind of finish things off. So I didn't chase any extra races, I didn't push when I didn't need to, and for once I actually stuck to the plan. My legs feel better, my head feels clearer, and it's exactly the kind of structure I think I've been missing. This is what 1 week of consistent, sensible training kind of looks like. Then I'm pretty excited for week 2. The rebuild has started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.